you are going to use this video to fill out that last section in your notes from section 2.1, and that is finding the simplest form. So we are going to practice finding the simplest form today. So, finding the simplest form. A fraction is a piece of a whole. So, for example, we can take this circle and cut it into fourths like I did. So each one of these pieces is worth 1/4 because this whole circle is cut into fourths and each one of these pieces is one of those 4, okay? Now I can take this same circle and I can cut it into pieces of 8. Now I have 8 equal pieces. And we can see very easily right here that 2/8, so this is 2 out of 8 pieces, 2/8 is equal to 1/4. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to practice taking fractions like 2/8 and reducing them down so we can see them in their simplest form. It's very easy to see here that 2/8 is equal to the same amount as 1/4. Same thing with this circle, or this square, sorry. We can take this square and I can break it into 2 pieces. Okay? This piece right here is 1/2 of my square rectangle. Okay? Now let's say that I was looking at it and now I want to have 4 pieces, okay? So if we look right here, I now have 4 pieces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And we can see very easily that 2 of these 4 pieces is equal to 1/2. You see, takes about the same amount of space. Same with these here. It takes up the same amount of space. So we could say that 1/2 and 2/4 are the same fraction or worth the same amount. Now we are going to practice putting fractions in simplest form without using pictures. So for example, let's say I have the fraction 2, that's a really beautiful 2, there you go, 2/6. And I want to put this in simplest form. The first thing I need to do is find all of the factors of both the numerator. Remember, the numerator is this top number, and then I need to find all the factors of 6, which is this bottom number. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I have my number 2, and the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. That's it. The only way you can multiply to make 2 is 1 times 2. Then I have my 6. The different factors of 6 are, we have 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. So we can see we've laid out all the factors. Now that we've done that, we find the greatest common factor. So we can see here that the GCF of 2 and 6 is 2. Okay, that's my first step. Step 1. So I've taken this information, I've labeled it step 1. Now we're going to look at our second step. We found the GCF. Now we need to divide both the numerator and the denominator by that GCF. So if I look right here, that means I'm going to do 2 divided by 2, and that equals 1. And then I do 6 divided by 2, and that equals 3. And now I've put my fraction 2/6 into simplest form, 1/3. All right? Now let's go ahead and let's put the 2 examples in from your notes. First, let's look at 20/25. And if we remember, our first step is to find the factors of both the numerator and the denominator. Okay? So I have 20. And I need to find all the factors of 20. And I have 25. And I also need to find all the factors of 25. Remember, you have your factors cheat sheet that you can use to help you if you forget what all the factors are. So 1 times 20, we have 2 times 10, we have 4 times 5. Those are all the factors of 20. Now let's look at 25. We have 1 times 25, and we have 5 times 5. So now we found all the factors. That is our first step. Our second step is to divide both the numerator and the denominator by that greatest common factor. So if I look, I can see very easily that my greatest common factor is 5. So now I need to divide both the numerator and denominator by 5. So I'm going to do 20 divided by 5, and I'm also going to do 25 divided by 5. 20 divided by 5 is equal to 4. So that's equal to 4. And 25 divided by 5 is equal to 5. So my simplified fraction, or 25ths in simplest form, is 4/5. Pause the video now and make sure that you get all this information into your notes in a nice, neat manner so that it can help you when you look back at it, okay? Now, hopefully you have this written in your notes and we can try our next example. Our next example is, let's just separate these so it's easy to see. All right, so our next example is we have 24 30-seconds. So step 1 is I find all those factors. So I have my 24, all the factors of 24. We have 1 times 24. We have 2 times 12. We have 3 times 8. And we have 4 times 6. Sorry, it's kind of messy. All right, now let's look at 32. We have 1 times 32. We have 2 times 16. And we have 4 times 8. And these are all the factors of 32. Okay? So our next step is to find that GCF, and I look and I can see that the GCF of 24 and 32 is 8. That is the greatest common factor. Now that I've found that, I simply divide my numerator by 8 and my denominator by 8. So 24 divided by 8 is 3. And 32 divided by 8 is 4. So 24 30-seconds in simplest form is 3/4. Okay? Take this information, put it in your notes, and tomorrow we are going to have an exit slip just to see where you're at with this information. So good luck.